One common mistake we make when we go to teach kids these lessons is I have to get through the entire part of my lesson. You have like 6 points to make and you want to make all those points and definitely drive it home. But it doesn't always have to be like that. One thing that you have to realize is what you want to do is bring these kids to see God right where they're at. And what we talked about in the first video was engaging with God and then coming to the kids and passing that on to the kids. You don't engage with God by going through these 6 points. What you do is you meet with God and then have a conversation. I would challenge you to approach teaching these lessons to the kids by just meeting with them and then starting with these points and get through as much as you possibly can without just cutting off any kind of interaction or conversation. What you really want to try to do is engage their brains in this conversation. You want them to be thinking about what you're teaching and not just listening and trying to absorb all that you're giving them. You don't want to just dump a bucket on them and try to just let them absorb it all. You want them to absorb 3-4 drops and really get it. So the way to do this is to always hit them on their level. And we've been talking about the different ways of prayer: adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. How to pray these things and how to break that down. And all my kids get supply. They ask when you have a need. Ask God for it. Great. But they only know the part about asking for physical needs, not spiritual needs. They know how to give thanks to God for what He's done. God, thank you for my food. Thank you for my clothes. Thank you for the air that I breathe. Thanks for those things. They know to confess the bad things they do, the stealing, the cheating, the lying. They get that kind of thing. But they have no idea how to just sit there and praise God for who He is, how to adore God for who He is. So how do I break this concept down to these kids? These kids know about adoration. These kids know about giving their praise and their attention to things that mean a lot to them. So what you do is start off right where they're at. They know this element. They know, I like this, I like that. With guys, you talk about basketball players. LeBron James, oh, Kobe Bryant, oh, these kids like, oh, they're so great. I want the new Kobe Bryant shoes. And they know their stuff, their game systems. Oh, man, I love my game systems. And they get all hyper and they get all super excited about those things. And what they're doing is they're adoring them. They're worshiping them. They get that concept. So meet them there. Hey, guys, name some things that you adore. And, a couple of them are going to go, Jesus, God, Lottie Moon. They're going to throw those things out there that are like, hold on, slow down. What are some things you really adore? Say, do you love your video games? Oh, yes. And they start going nuts. Name one or two. They'll start naming off tons of things they go. Girls, what about shoes and clothes and purses and bags and whatever it is the girls adore? You throw those things out there and let them build up on it and get it in their mind of how they're adoring these things. They like them for what they are and they give their attention to them because they're so good. Once they get that concept down, hey guys, do you know that this is the way that we're supposed to adore God? We see God for who He is. We see God for how powerful He is. And that's why we adore God. You see those things in their life that they adore. And then you bridge the gap to that being, this is the kind of attention we should give God because He's better than all these things. So to teach this lesson, first, you put it on a level of things they can understand. And let them feedback, let them talk, and then you bridge that gap to God. And also, the second thing I wanted to say was when you're having these conversations, let it be a conversation. Kids at this age group, they're able to start breaking down and thinking about these things. They can really own their personal relationship with Jesus at this age. And so you really give it to them. Let them do it. Let them ask questions and give feedbacks. And don't care if they say something wrong. Because if they tell you something that's wrong, they're revealing what their heart really says, what their heart really thinks, what they really believe, and then you're able to really know what they really think, and then you can speak truth into that. Don't be afraid of them giving a bad example. Don't be afraid of them just talking and sharing their story about it. Try to keep it focused on the lesson. If they go to talking about some movie, hey, does this have to do with what we're talking about? Let's save that story for afterwards. Don't be afraid to let them speak as part of this lesson because then their brains are engaged into the story and their brains are really active and they're listening to what God has to say then as opposed to you just trying to pass off this lesson to them and hope that it sticks.